Number 5, notice the subtle difference in this problem. In the two problems prior to now, the absolute value was isolated, which means it was by itself on that one side of the equal sign. This one has a +4 on the same side of the absolute value, and then we have equals 17. So two things I want to make note of. Do not change this positive because it's an absolute value. You always solve first, and then after you have simplified as much as you can, then you absolute value and make it positive. We wouldn't be able to do that with the t. And secondly, we must remember to isolate, get the absolute value expression by itself. So this +4, we have to get rid of it before we can actually set up our two equations. So we need to subtract 4 first so that we get our absolute value by itself on the left side of the equal sign. So that goes, and I'm going to bring down absolute value of 1 minus 4t, and that's going to equal to, that goes to 0, and this equals 13. All right, so this is what we're comparing. We're trying to figure out this inside the absolute value equal to 13 and negative 13. So we do 1 minus 4t equals 13, and 1 minus 4t equals negative 13. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides. Bring down negative 4t equals 12. And then we divide by negative 4. That gives us t equals negative 3. So our t could be negative 3, one possibility. And if we subtract 1 from both sides on the other side, bring down the negative 4t, that equals negative 14. Got two negatives. When you're adding, you just get a bigger negative number or smaller number in value. And then we divide by negative 4, and then we get t equals, now negative divided by negative is a positive, so I'm going to simplify right here. So that will be positive 14 over 4, and then you can divide both of these by 2 and reduce it, so we get 7 divided by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we get 7/2. So these are our two solutions. Here we get negative 3, comma 7 divided by 2. Uh-oh. What happened there? Negative 3, and then comma 7 divided by 2. There we go. Number 6. So be aware when you see this scenario. We have u minus 5. Absolute value of that is equal to a negative 1/6. Now, in no other problem did we have absolute value equal to a negative number. This doesn't work. I want you to see the difference. Normally we have this expression and it's equal to a positive number, because every time you take the absolute value of a number, it comes out positive. In this case, we're taking the absolute value of a number and we're saying that it's going to end up being negative. This cannot happen. There will be no solution. If you solve this, you might possibly get an answer, but it's not going to work when you go back and plug it in. Now, don't confuse the fact that this is set equal to a negative number with the idea that we just take the absolute values away when we set up the two parts and do this. U minus 5 equals negative 1/6, and u minus 5 equal positive 1/6. Now this could be true because there's no absolute value. We do that to get rid of the absolute value. But when you start the problem, if it has a negative, this cannot happen. Okay, you just need to know that this does not work. No solution. We cannot set an absolute value expression to a negative number because absolute value by definition converts it positive. Okay, so just know this doesn't work. This is not the same. Okay, this has absolute value equal to negative. This just has the expression equal to negative. And we only do this after we evaluate that part. So make a note that we cannot have absolute value equal to a negative number. So in this case, there is no solution. No need to solve it out. Whenever you see that, just say no solution and move on.